Hey y'all, it is time for my second medical cannabis update. And if you haven't watched the first video, I highly recommend clicking on this link and checking it out because I'm not going to be repeating information except for a little bit of background. So I went through the state's process so I could legally obtain medical marijuana here in Florida. And I was able to start using it in April of this year, 2018. So it's roughly been 5 months now that I've been using medical cannabis. Initially, I was very nervous to try it because of misconceptions. I thought if I took medical marijuana, I was automatically going to get high, and I absolutely hate feeling impaired, but I educated myself. I know you don't need to be stoned to reap the benefits of marijuana, and a lot of my doctors were encouraging me to try it. We were really hoping to see benefits with my GI issues and my chronic pain. So far, my GI issues have been tremendously helped by medical marijuana. I was shocked at how much of a difference it made. And the medical marijuana in combination with my Xolair injections that I've been getting to treat my mast cell disease have drastically improved my oral intake. I'm no longer exclusively tube fed. I'm able to sustain myself with oral intake. Sometimes I have to supplement with tube feeds, but things are much better. I think that the Xolair was helping the main GI issues caused by my mast cell disease, but the marijuana is helping with the nausea and vomiting. So really big changes, and I noticed the marijuana helping with my GI issues almost instantly, but then as I learned more and tweaked my dosing and ratios and found what works best for me as far as the cannabis goes, I got even more benefits now than when I first started. Things aren't perfect, like sometimes I still can't eat, sometimes I still vomit, but I would definitely say my symptoms have improved, and the medical marijuana has been a huge game changer for my GI issues. I mean, I'm convinced that if my medical marijuana wasn't a part of my treatment, I would still be far more dependent on my feeding tube. I still have my tube. I use it every day for medications, but I'm not having to run feeds all that often because I can sustain myself with oral intake, and I used to be exclusively tube fed, so this is a huge difference. Now, like I said, it's not perfect. Some days I struggle and I do need to run feeds supplementally at times, but so thankful for this improvement. You know, my GI symptoms are more manageable, my gastroparesis is more manageable. I'm just very happy and grateful with the results. Now, as far as my chronic pain goes, the medical cannabis has actually not helped with that at all, which is surprising to me because so many people say that it helps their pain. And I've done a lot of experimenting and tweaking, working with the dispensary, trying different strains, different strengths. I highly upped the CBD and it didn't change anything. I highly upped the THC and it only made me impaired, which I didn't like. No pain relief. So I've kind of come to the realization that the medical marijuana may never help with my pain, but I'm still grateful for the other results I'm getting. This is what I currently take. It is a 1-to-1 ratio of THC and CBD, and the THC is indica, which works much better for my body. There's another strain called sativa, and that just makes me feel really like wired and weird. So I really like this product. It's already evenly measured out, and okay, it's really hard for me to get the cap off. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. So what I do is morning and night, I take a full dropper like that. I just put it under my tongue, let it sit there, and then swallow it. It doesn't really taste that bad to me. And then throughout the day, if I'm feeling my GI issues act up, then I might take a little bit throughout the day or put it on some food I'm eating. But this is my regimen right now, and it's working lovely. Now, everything regarding my medical marijuana, I have to pay for out of pocket. Insurance doesn't cover it. And you can't just see any doctor here in Florida. You have to see a doctor that's registered with the state's Compassionate Use Board. And to find my doctor, I used a website called DocMJ. And going to see him, I had to pay for that out of pocket. Buying my products, I have to pay for out of pocket. This little bottle costs $75, and depending how much I use it, it roughly lasts me a month to 2 months. So it is kind of pricey, but honestly, the results I'm getting, so worth it. Once a year, I have to pay to renew my medical marijuana card, And then every 7 months, I have to have a follow-up with my medical marijuana doctor so I continue this treatment. And my first 7-month follow-up is actually approaching. So when you see a medical marijuana doctor, or like my personal experience for the state of Florida, they cannot call it a prescription. They have to call it a recommendation for the products you are to use. And if they give you a limit, you cannot exceed the recommendation. And they also put down how you are to administer the cannabis. So I do have a limit on how much cannabis I'm allowed to obtain in a certain period of time, but I've never come close to that limit, so not a big deal. And then how I can administer it, obviously I can do my sublingual oils. I'm also allowed to do topical, like creams. Tried those, they didn't help me, so I don't use them. But I am not allowed to inhale it, like vaping or smoking. And that's just because of my asthma history and issues with my lungs, plus my regular doctors advised against inhalation as well, so obviously I'm going to listen to them. So there is my update number 2 for y'all. I am really quite content with the little concoction that works best for me, which is this 1-to-1 ratio of THC and CBD. You know, in some ways the medical cannabis journey has really exceeded my expectations, mainly with how much this helps my GI issues and gives me no other side effects. I mean, it's natural, I don't feel impaired with it, it's awesome. But at the same time, it's gone under my expectations because I really thought I would get at least some type of pain relief. But right now it's just not happening for me personally, but who knows, maybe things will change in the future. All I know is that I will keep taking my medical marijuana very proudly because it's truly helped. The GI benefits alone are so worth it for me. I hope this video was helpful to y'all, and if you want to share your experiences in the comments with medical marijuana, feel free to do so. And with that, I will say goodbye, and thanks for joining us on our adventure.